Watch someone who needs to prove their toughness, the raised voice, the puffed chest, the threats that hang in the air like smoke. Most people react. They either submit or fight back. Both responses are mistakes. Both hand power to someone who has none. The truly intelligent do something different. They see what others miss. Every display of aggression is a confession. Every threat is an admission. The person performing toughness is announcing to anyone paying attention that performance is all they have. Real power never announces itself. It simply exists. Silent, patient, waiting, and those who understand this never feel threatened again. Aggression is the resource of the powerless, not always, but almost always. When someone must constantly demonstrate their strength, they reveal the absence of it. Think clearly about actual capability. The surgeon does not announce their skill before every incision. The master chess player does not threaten their opponent before the game. The truly dangerous person does not warn you they are dangerous. They simply are. The performance itself is the weakness. Those who act tough are running from something, usually from the truth of their own inadequacy. They lack the intelligence for strategy. They lack the patience for long-term planning. They lack the emotional control for measured response. So they default to the most primitive tool available: intimidation, volume, threats, physical posturing. This is not strength. This is the last resort of someone who has nothing else. Consider what true power looks like. It operates quietly. It plans 3 moves ahead. It never reveals its full capability. It chooses its moments with precision. The powerful CEO does not yell in meetings because one quiet word changes the entire room. The genuinely formidable person does not issue warnings because their capability is self-evident. The strategically brilliant leader does not argue because they have already positioned themselves to win before the conversation began. Contrast this with the person who acts tough. They show you everything. Their maximum capability is on display, volume and threats. That is the ceiling. They have revealed their limits while believing they are demonstrating strength. They have announced exactly how far they can go. And anyone with strategic sense now knows precisely how to neutralize them. The psychology is simple. Secure people do not need constant validation. Competent people do not need to prove their competence. Intelligent people do not need to announce their intelligence. The need for demonstration itself proves the absence of the quality being demonstrated. The loudest person in the room is rarely the most powerful. They are usually the most afraid. Fear drives aggression more often than strength does. Fear of being exposed, fear of losing status, fear of being seen as weak, so they perform. They create theatre. They hope the performance will convince you and themselves that they possess something they do not. And it works on most people because most people respond emotionally rather than analytically. Someone yells, they feel intimidated. Someone threatens, they feel afraid. Someone postures, they believe the display. But the intelligent person sees through it immediately. Understanding this changes everything. Once you recognize that aggressive behavior is compensatory, not powerful, you stop reacting to it emotionally. You see it for what it is. a desperate attempt to control a situation by someone who lacks the tools to control it legitimately. And this recognition is the foundation of every intelligent response to aggression. The first strategy is silence, not the silence of fear, the silence of control. When someone performs aggression, they need your reaction. They need you to either submit or escalate. Either response validates their performance and gives them the control they are seeking. Your silence denies them both. It is a mirror that reflects their performance back to them without amplification. They yell. You wait. They threaten. You remain still. They posture. You do not move. This is devastating to their strategy because the entire structure of intimidation collapses without your participation. Silence also creates space. Space to think. Space to observe. Space to choose your response rather than react instinctively. The aggressive person is operating emotionally. They are reactive. They are in the moment. They have surrendered strategic thinking to the immediate need to dominate. Your silence keeps you in the strategic realm. You are observing, analyzing, deciding whether this situation even warrants a response, and often it does not. The second strategy is patience. The aggressive person wants immediate submission or immediate conflict. Both serve their emotional needs. Your patience denies them both. You let them perform. You let them exhaust themselves. You wait for the moment when their aggression becomes a liability rather than a tool. And that moment always comes. Aggression cannot be sustained indefinitely. It requires energy, it requires audience, it requires response. When you provide none of these, the person performing aggression eventually has to stop. And in that stop, in that moment of deflation, you see who they actually are. Usually someone much smaller than they appeared. Patience also reveals patterns. People who rely on intimidation are predictable. They follow scripts. They escalate in predictable ways. They retreat in predictable ways. Your patience allows you to map these patterns, to understand exactly how they operate. And once you understand their patterns, they become manageable. You know when they will push. You know when they will back down. You know their limits because they have shown you through repetition. This knowledge is power. The third strategy is timing. Never engage when the aggressive person wants you to engage. They have chosen the moment because they believe it gives them advantage. The yelling boss calls you into their office when they are angry and you are unprepared. The intimidating colleague confronts you publicly where audience pressure might force your submission. The threatening individual picks the time and place that maximizes their perceived power. Your refusal to engage at their chosen moment is a demonstration of actual power. You dictate when the conversation happens, on your terms, when you are prepared, when the conditions favor you. This simple act of controlling timing shifts power entirely. Timing also applies to your responses. If you must respond to aggression, never do it in the heat of the moment. The immediate response is almost always emotional, almost always reactive, almost always a mistake. Wait. Let the situation cool. Let the aggressive person believe they have won through your silence. Then, when they are relaxed and off guard, deliver your response. Calm, measured, strategic. This delayed response is far more effective than any immediate counterattack because it demonstrates that their aggression did not control you. You remained in control the entire time. You simply chose to respond when it served your interests, not theirs. The fourth strategy is non-reaction. This is different from silence. Silence is the absence of sound. Non-reaction is the absence of emotional response. When someone acts tough, they're trying to provoke a specific emotional state in you: fear, anger, submission. Your emotional response is the goal. Your non-reaction denies them that goal. They yell and you remain calm. They threaten and you remain unmoved. They posture and you remain indifferent. This is not suppression of emotion. This is genuine indifference born from understanding. You are not moved by their performance because you understand it is only a performance. There is nothing beneath it that warrants your emotional energy. Non-reaction also protects you from manipulation. Emotional reactions can be predicted and used against you. If the aggressive person knows they can make you angry, they will use that anger to compromise your judgment. If they know they can make you afraid, they will use that fear to control your behavior. Your non-reaction removes these tools from their arsenal. They cannot manipulate emotions you are not displaying. They cannot exploit vulnerabilities you are not showing. You become strategically opaque, unreadable. And this is terrifying to people whose entire strategy depends on reading and exploiting emotional responses. The fifth strategy is detachment, not cruelty, not coldness, simply the psychological distance that allows clear observation. When you are detached, you can see the aggressive person not as a threat, but as a problem to be solved, or more often, as a problem to be avoided entirely. Detachment allows you to ask the strategic questions. What does this person actually have power over? Usually very little. What do they actually want? Usually validation. Do I need to give them anything? Usually no. Can I simply remove them from my life or minimize their access to me? Usually yes. Detachment also prevents the accumulation of resentment. When you take aggression personally, it builds. It creates emotional weight that affects your judgment and your peace. When you remain detached, you see the aggressive person clearly, often as someone struggling with their own inadequacy. This does not mean you help them. It does not mean you tolerate their behavior. It simply means you understand it for what it is. And understanding removes the personal sting. Their aggression is about them, not you. This recognition frees you. The sixth strategy is strategic withdrawal. Sometimes the most intelligent response to aggression is absence, not retreat from fear, withdrawal from strategy. If someone is acting tough to provoke you into a conflict that does not serve your interests, do not engage. Let them perform to an empty room. This is not weakness. This is control. You are choosing which battles matter. You are refusing to expend energy on conflicts that yield no strategic value. And you are demonstrating that their aggression has no power to keep you where you do not wish to be. Strategic withdrawal also creates consequences for the aggressive person without requiring your direct involvement. When you withdraw, they lose access to you. They lose the ability to use you for validation. They lose the audience their performance requires. And often they lose the cover your presence provided for their behavior. Without you to push against, their aggression becomes visible to others as exactly what it is: unprovoked, unreasonable, a liability. And others begin to withdraw as well. The aggressive person finds themselves increasingly isolated, not because you destroyed them, because you simply refused to participate in their theatre. Understanding these strategies is important. Understanding why emotional reaction is dangerous is equally important. When you react emotionally to aggression, you hand power to the aggressor. Not because emotion is weakness, because emotional reaction is predictable and predictability is exploitable. If the aggressive person knows they can make you angry, they control when you are angry. They can deploy that anger against you at moments of their choosing. Your anger becomes their tool. If they know they can intimidate you, they control your decisions through fear. Your fear becomes their leverage. If they know you will fight back when challenged, they can drain your energy and focus through endless provocations. Your combativeness becomes their weapon. Emotional reaction also compromises judgment. When you are angry or afraid or hurt, you make different decisions than when you are calm. Usually worse decisions. The aggressive person knows this. Consciously or unconsciously, they are trying to move you from the strategic realm into the emotional realm, because the emotional realm is where they have advantage. Their entire approach is emotional. They have no strategy, so they need you to abandon strategy as well. Your emotional reaction accomplishes this. Furthermore, emotional reaction creates patterns that trap you. If you consistently respond to aggression with counter-aggression, you become known as volatile. This reputation follows you. It affects how others interact with you. It limits your opportunities. It makes you predictable. And predictability is death in strategic thinking. If you consistently respond to aggression with submission, you become known as weak. This reputation also follows you. It invites further aggression. It positions you as a target. It ensures that aggressive people will continue to use you for validation. The intelligent person avoids both patterns. They remain unpredictable through strategic choice. Sometimes they engage, sometimes they withdraw, sometimes they respond immediately, sometimes they wait. The aggressive person never knows which they will choose. This uncertainty is itself a form of power. It keeps the aggressive person off balance. It forces them to consider whether their performance will succeed before they begin it. And often, that consideration alone is enough to prevent the performance. Power is not what most people think it is. It is not volume. It is not threats. It is not physical dominance. These are the tools of people who have nothing else. Real power is quiet. It is patient. It is strategic. It arranges circumstances so favorably that conflict becomes unnecessary. And when conflict is unavoidable, real power ends it quickly, decisively, without drama. The person who acts tough is already losing. They are expending energy on performance while you build actual capability. They are focused on immediate domination while you plan long-term positioning. They are revealing their limits while you remain strategically ambiguous. They are creating unnecessary enemies while you build necessary alliances. They are playing the game they know while you are changing the rules beneath them. Understand this completely. The need to appear powerful is proof of powerlessness. The need to appear intelligent is proof of ignorance. The need to appear dangerous is proof of weakness. Those who possess these qualities do not announce them. They simply deploy them when necessary. And the deployment is usually so subtle that the target does not realize they have been defeated until the outcome is already determined. So when you encounter someone who acts tough, do not be intimidated. Do not match their aggression. Do not submit to their performance. Instead, recognize what you are witnessing: someone who has run out of better options. Someone who is operating from a position of weakness while desperately trying to appear strong. Someone who has already lost but does not know it yet. Your silence will teach them. Your patience will defeat them. Your strategic thinking will make their aggression irrelevant. not through confrontation, through positioning, through building a reality in which their behaviour simply does not matter to your success. This is the ultimate victory. Not defeating them on their terms, making their terms meaningless. The intelligent do not fight battles they can avoid. They do not engage with people they can ignore. They do not expend energy on conflicts that serve no purpose. They understand that attention is a resource. Energy is a resource. Time is a resource. And none of these should be wasted on people performing toughness as a substitute for actual capability. Remember this when aggression finds you. The person shouting is weak. The person threatening is afraid. The person performing is desperate. And you, remaining calm and strategic and unmoved, are demonstrating the only form of power that ultimately matters. The power to choose your response, the power to dictate the terms of engagement, the power to make their performance irrelevant through the simple act of refusing to participate in it. This is how the intelligent deal with those who act tough, not by becoming tough themselves, by remaining intelligent while others abandon intelligence for theatre. And in the long game, intelligence defeats performance every single time.